Oh, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Guys, today we have a very, very, very special show for you. I think you guys know what's going on. I think you read the title. We do have a very special guest on today. It's an absolute Mafia favorite. Guys, today we have Gareth Soloway on the channel. Super, super, super excited to hear what he has to say about Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin has basically just been going sideways for what seems like to be forever. Everybody's looking, are we getting, higher prices, or are we going to get that last lower leg down? I'm really excited to hear kind of what Gareth thinks. I know he's going to bring that special sauce. Some of you guys call him Sensei Gareth. I like it. I like it. I don't want to keep Gareth waiting too long, guys. But don't forget to smash that like button if you love Gareth Soloway. And if you want to spin the wheel of pain and pleasure to win some free crypto. And this week, guys, we are going to be doing a very, very special giveaway because we hit 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we're going to actually be doing a bigger giveaway than normal. And we never did our 25K giveaway. That was kind of supposed to happen in Discord, and then we changed it, and it never happened. So we are going to combine these giveaways. So if you have never done one of these giveaways, guys, you have to get in on this one because this one is going to be super, super valuable. We're going to be giving away a ton of stuff. We're going to be giving away merch, maybe some ledgers, and we're definitely giving away some crypto. And if you want to join those giveaways, the mods will give you directions in the chat. They'll give you a link to click to go to a video. You got to like and comment on that video to get entered into that giveaway. And then again, smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on that wheel, and the wheel is kind of rigged in your favor, so you almost get a giveaway every single spin. But, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and say what's up to chat before we bring Gareth on and chat it up. Let's see, who do we got in here? Cyan, the Cryptolorian. What is going on? Thank you for being here, bro. Always love seeing you in here, repping the Otter Gang. Steve, what is going on, Steve? Frankie is better, though. Excuse me, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but hey, I'll take it. If I'm better than anything, I'll take it. Thanks for that, Steve. Ken Smith, as always, good to see you. Ant Arts NFTs. Hey, Frankie. Hey, everyone. What's up? I read that backwards. I don't know why. Anthony Soprano, guys. We got Tony Soprano in the chat. Show him some respect. Wolfman ate my coins. What is going on, man? Thank you for being back here. Thesis himself says he is Shlong Bong Bing Bong. I like it. I like it. What's going on, French Toaster? The days of old. Welcome back, Brad. Thank you for being here. Brad showing some love to Gareth. I like it. Brian, what is going on? Anonymous, our funniest CandleMafia member. What is going on, man? Thank you for being here. Dean, what is going on? Dave Digital, always showing support. Let's see. Crypto Billy, thank you to all our mods. And shout out to Tony D for the super chat. Says hype for Gareth, hype for 30K, hype for Frankie. Let's go. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and rant about Sam Bankman-Fried real quick. I'm just kidding, guys. We'll leave. Ben's rant this morning was hilarious. I just wanted to make that little joke because everybody's like, "Are you gonna rant too, Frankie?" No, we got Gareth Soloway on. I think Ben did enough ranting. We're gonna let Gareth show us that special sauce on the charts. I know you guys love when we have him on. Last time he came with value on value on value. We love hearing Gareth's take. So without further ado, please welcome Gareth Soloway. Gareth, what is going on, man? Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, man. I really enjoy coming on here and chatting with you, so thanks for having me.
Of course. So, yeah, I guess we do have some questions. I know the Mafia is, lining up some questions. The mods are sending them to me in a separate group. So we'll get to the questions a little bit later, but I did just want to go ahead and I just wanted to kind of start off and get your general ideas on the market. I know a lot of people are calling for lower lows. Some people think we're going into a new bull run. Some people think we're going to 25K. What are you seeing on the charts? Is there really, can you pick a decisive direction, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the camp where I still am in thinking we have a near-term pump, right? So I do think that complacency is there. I think there's a lot of bears out there in Bitcoin and crypto land. And so for me, looking at the charts, it also confirms it. In fact, let's bring up a chart right now so we can take a look. So what we basically have is this beautiful wedge pattern, right? You take the highs going back to May. It connects perfectly to the high in August, which then connects perfectly to September, and then all the way through here. And then same thing from the June low, you can kind of connect these lows. Now, what you're seeing here in the near term is this hammering on this resistance line. And I'm in the camp that I do think eventually we're going to break through this, which will give us a near term. And I stress near term, but a near term pop, potentially as high as 20,000. The reason I'm getting 25,000, the reason I'm getting 25 is basically by taking a parallel from these lows and stretching it up and basically looking like this would be the upper range of that parallel line connected through this point here. So I think that's a possibility. I think that would get a lot of people very, very bullish. But one of the things we have to recognize is that this, and even a pop to 25,000, it's still inside of a macro bearish pattern, right? So you have the down move here, all inside bar action, even up to here. And therefore, my midterm is still for further downside. So I'm near-term bullish, midterm still bearish. I still don't think we have a bottom in Bitcoin yet.
I love it. This is a very similar situation that we're kind of looking for. You know, I do also believe that we can get a short-term bounce. And I warn everybody, you know, if we do get this bounce, especially if we go back up and revisit 25K, to be careful because those perma bulls are going to come out of the bushes and be like, here comes 100K, here comes that super cycle. And I always warn them, right? Because we've gotten massive pumps, or not massive pumps, but we've gotten pretty big pumps in bear markets. I always tell people, you know, nothing goes down in a straight line. You get, in 2018, you know, we had little relief rallies up to 100%. And then we had that little fake out bull run in 2019 up to 14K. But we're kind of looking at very similar targets. And I'm a very technical person. and this is kind of a question just from me. We've been asking our recent guests the same question. It does seem that obviously Bitcoin has been basically just completely going sideways, and we kind of have to wait for a Fed meeting or some kind of news to come out to get any sort of volatility, and then it's just like violent volatility, and then it just settles right back where it was, balances out. Now, with that being said, do you think that I see a lot of people in chat, they're kind of saying like we're probably going to go sideways until, and then they think we can get that pump in midterms. If you had to put like a time limit on it, do you think that pump would come closer, closer to November, or do you think we're kind of on the brink of that? I know November 1st, I think we do have some news coming out of the Fed. What do you think the catalyst would be for this, this little relief rally?
Yeah, so I understand the midterms angle and the Fed angle right there, but really, if we look at the chart, what's so interesting is that the wedge pattern ends, and this is where the point is, right around the October 29th-ish area. What that tells me is that you're going to either get a breakout or a breakdown between now and then, right? I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or if it's going to be on the 29th, but price is going to be forced out of this wedge pattern. And usually what we see, especially following these really quiet periods in any asset, is that when you get that break, it's explosive. So again, my guess is we actually see the beginning of the move before the Fed and before the midterms. Whether or not it continues in that direction when we get the Fed in the midterms, that's another story. But I think it actually will happen probably in the next week, as we see here by the 29th.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I would basically agree with that. I know, a lot of people, are looking for that kind of midterm pump, and then they're thinking that after the midterms, that's when we're really going to start to see that dump to the downside. Now, I do want to pivot just a little bit, just because I did get a question from one of the CandleMafia members, which has kind of been, it's been a question that's come up a lot. And this comes from Taylor, and he asks, why haven't the divergences, because we kind of look at the DXY sometimes. I know a lot of people are looking at the weekly, kind of just setting up with tons and tons and tons of bearish divergences. So they ask, why haven't the divergences on the dollar been playing out? Is this manipulation? Why, and also, why do people say divergences don't work on indexes?
So that's a great question, and number one is you still do see the opposing move on a shorter time frame. So like let's actually go to the 10-minute chart, and what we can see here on the 10-minute chart. I'm going to get rid of this trend line, but if I compare the DXY, look at what we have here, right? So notice how here's your DXY dumping, and then here's your Bitcoin popping, right? And so you see this movement up, and here this. So you do see that opposing factoring out, right? Where the dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down, and vice versa. The only other thing that you can say, though, is that on a daily basis, if we go back to that daily chart, you don't see that as much. We actually can't see this.
I don't think you're sharing your screen.
Oh, my apologies. I got to show that screen. All right, let's go back to it. Let's go back. I apologize. So basically what I was showing here is you can see today alone, this is the 10-minute chart, you can see when the dollar was falling, we did see Bitcoin rally up, and then as the dollar bounced back and went higher, we saw Bitcoin kind of come down. So you do see that, kind of that opposite move going on. But the interesting thing, and you're bringing up a really good point here, is that if we go to the daily chart, you're not seeing, the dollar's been going higher quite a bit, but Bitcoin's not going lower in the bigger time frame. And the positive to that, I don't think it's manipulation. I think it's a combination of, number one, you do see a little accumulation probably by smart money here. Number two, I do think that with all the currency issues going on, so we see the dollar. I mean, look at some of these charts. Let's go back to charts. Like, let's look at the USD JPY. I mean, look at this move up in the dollar yen. So you have that. Then you have the Bank of England already intervening because the pound is collapsing. Then you have the euro, which is now below par with the dollar. And I really think that some of these other citizens of these countries are probably putting a little bit of money into Bitcoin to try to protect themselves from what's going on with the dollar and their own currency. So I think there's a combination, but either way, it's a really healthy thing for Bitcoin to do, right? I love when Bitcoin starts to behave abnormally from what we're used to, and that's what we've seen on the daily chart recently.
Yeah, well, I love what you said there. It's pretty interesting because I've kind of been talking about that a little bit on my channel where, we're seeing, the most recent moves on the DXY. We've seen the DXY come up. We've seen stocks come down, but Bitcoin kind of just sitting there, kind of holding up pretty well with it being such a volatile asset. It's kind of interesting to see that happen where Bitcoin's holding strong. And you're saying you think it could be other countries kind of basically hedging their bets. Very interesting.
And again, keep in mind, whatever it is, it's really minor because if you look at the volume in Bitcoin over the last couple of weeks, it has been so small. So it probably doesn't take a lot of people. So it's not like it's a massive inflow of billions and billions of dollars. It's just there's some buyers that are kind of piquing their interest because they're seeing their country, like the UK, is just in disarray right now because of what's going on with their currency. Their prime minister just resigned today. So all of that's kind of going on. And I do think it coaxes in a few buyers, but that's what you want to see. We want to see Bitcoin as a safety net where people run to it. And so it's good to see that at least occasionally. And it does appear to be happening.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And, with that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about, obviously we're just kind of sitting there. We're sitting at the floor, right? This is essentially kind of where my original bottom prediction was. I was kind of expecting a move down to mid to low 20s, maybe with a panic wick into the teens, maybe 18K, something like that. So this is basically my last shot to be right on that. And I don't really put much weight on calling the bottom. I'm not
hard.
Yeah, it's super hard, and if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really put much weight on it. But and
Frankie, also keep in mind, and I think this is good for everyone to hear, is that a good technician is able to reevaluate basically daily on their targets, and targets do shift, right? You see new things in the chart every day. You're getting new information. So like when I was out when Bitcoin was 68, 69,000, saying 20,000, that was my target at the time, right? Well, now it's been achieved. Now I have to say, okay, well, what are the charts saying from here on out? And that's where it's kind of changed a little bit for me, where you see what the Fed is doing, you see their lack of printing of money in this bear cycle, and it's making me say, okay, you know what? This could be a bigger cycle to the downside than where we are currently.
Yeah, and I love that you said that because I talk about it all the time. Anytime I do make a prediction like that where it's a little more longer term, because when I said that it was a very long time ago, typically when I do that, I say, listen, if I think this is where the bottom's going to be, we'll get there. And then when we get there, I said exactly what you just said. We'll reassess the situation there because there's no way I could say, hey, we're going to bottom out at 18K, 19K, and that's going to be the bottom. You get people in chat that are like, you go ahead and you reassess the situation, and it's like, okay, now we're here. It looks like we could come lower. Let's find some new levels, and everybody just kind of wants, a yes or no answer. Is this the bottom or not? Yeah. It's like, well, let's get there and reassess the situation. So I think it's really important that you said that.
Yeah, and not only that, but there are situations where I have targets that, based on the current factors, is the target, and then you can actually see that target change, meaning that you may not even achieve that target, and all of a sudden, a good trader will update it and say, I thought Apple was going to go to $75, but based on the information now it's 95 or now it's 100. And so you have to, people kind of, whatever you write, especially on Twitter, is like in stone. It can never change, and they hold you to it. But really, in the world of investing and trading, the best traders are the ones that do adjust. Anyone who stays rigid, they're the ones that get crushed.
Yeah, I say it all the time. It's like the number one thing, right? The hardest thing, in my opinion, for trading, and maybe you'll agree, is the emotion. And when you become fanatical about, I always tell people to try to stay away from being fanatical either about a particular asset. Sometimes people get, especially in crypto, people get very fanatical about their favorite coins. Oh, yeah. And listen, if you're really fanatical, say about VeChain or something, and, something real bad happens to VeChain, you can't just continue to be like, yeah, but it's my favorite thing. It's going to continue to go up, but they're,
go down with the ship, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it really is important that you brought that up because I always say, especially if you're a trader, that's the beauty of it, is there's always new information on the charts, right? So if we think we're gonna bottom out here and we're like, oh no, we're going lower, hey, we can short it on the way down. So I do definitely think that's that's super, super important. And kind of with that being said, I kind of just want to talk, now that we're sitting at this key level of support, right? And if we lose this, obviously there are some lower targets, but I wanted to kind of ask you, with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, right? So you have the halvings. It becomes harder to mine, right? It causes a supply shock, and that's typically what brings us into the bull runs. But I know it's it's a very hot debate, right? Some people believe in the 4-year cycles religiously. They think that Bitcoin will always follow the 4-year cycles regardless of anything. Do you because I know you come from, you've been in this for a very, very long time. You've been a trader for a very long time, coming from stocks. So, with that, do you kind of look at the Bitcoin cycle, or do you just kind of approach the charts as the charts? You don't care about the cycles, and you just let the charts give you your information?
Yeah, so I think it's important to kind of have an open mind where, especially on an asset as recent as Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, I mean, yes, it's been 4-year cycles, but there's only been 3 of them, right? So, I mean, it's only been around for 12, 13 years. So you don't have that history of like a stock market or anything. And by the way, I think we have to kind of recognize that you had stock market cycles that were intact, and then the Fed started printing in 2009, and we really didn't have a bear market for 13 years until now. And so what that does to me is it kind of says, maybe we have to be open to things changing here. Maybe the cycle won't be as short as past bear markets, because we know that the Fed is not printing money like the past cycles. So you could argue very easily that the Fed kept the cycle intact because they were always printing money, but now they're not. Does that mean the cycle could be longer? So I think as a trader, and I think you would agree with this, is that you never want to hold yourself into that rigid, this is what it is, so it's always going to be like that. Kind of just go with it and then look for the chart to signal when it's finally bottomed, whether it's a flush out, whether it's panic, and that creates that bottom, the volume patterns, the bottoming tails, all those different signals, and then let that kind of dictate whenever that is.
Yeah, and I kind of talk about this too. It's like, people, they rely completely on the 4-year cycle, whatever it may be, but especially with everything going on right now in the macro is just, something like this happens, if we had something like, the thing that you can't talk about on YouTube, the thing that happened in March of 2020, if that had happened in the middle of a bull run, I'm pretty sure Bitcoin's not just going to keep going parabolic just because it's the bull market, right? So I always tell people, especially right now, people are like, there's no way we could go lower. This has got to be the bottom. We're retesting the all-time high. And I'm like, listen, this would be a good place to buy. I'd feel much more comfortable calling the bottom if the macro did not look the way it does. And because of that, we have been looking at lower targets because, I mean, we are on thin ice. So, more – go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and you're 100% right. I mean, it's a tricky scenario, right? Because you have certain things that are going to come up with the Federal Reserve. So number one is they're going to at some point stop hiking, and that's going to be that first pivot. But stopping hiking and keeping interest rates, let's say the Fed funds rate is at 4% at that point, that doesn't equate to printing money again. It's just they stopped raising. So that's kind of that first pivot. Then the next pivot would be when the economy really starts getting into a bad recession. They'll start dropping rates, which does increase liquidity in the system, but it's not quantitative easing yet, right? And so then you have that final one, which I do think would create that bull market again for sure, which is where they actually start quantitative easing again. So there's kind of like a 3-step to the Fed, turning things around, which then would create that bull market. And by the way, I don't necessarily think Bitcoin needs that to have a bull market. It's just really, really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of just another question from me. We may have talked about this last time you were on. We talked to Tom Crown about this, but because I know we had Evan Aldo on our channel, who's another awesome content creator. We actually have him on tomorrow's show. But he was telling us, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it might have been 10K. He was saying if Bitcoin drops below 10K, he may stop buying. Do you have a threshold where if Bitcoin goes below a certain price where you're starting to think like maybe this is a dead asset and you're not going to buy it anymore?
Yeah, so believe it or not, so I was originally in the 12. Well, once we got to 20, I said, okay, now 12 to 13,000 is my upside, my high end target. Now everyone's saying that, and that makes me nervous. I'm like, okay, it's either not going to get there or it's going below. I'm in the camp that it probably goes below. And so interestingly enough, I'll show you where my current kind of zone will be, and it is below 10,000. So certainly I'm still a buyer below 10,000. But let's take a look. Let's do a trend line here. And if we go to our weekly chart and we go back here, so let's take a look here, right? So what if we take just before the first bull run in 2017, we put a little trend line and we connect it through this low, all the way through there. And that target is right around, let's say, 8,000. Now, it's an upsloping trend line, so in a few months, it'll be slightly above that. But that's kind of like where I could see this thing coming back to that longer-term trend, and it makes a lot of sense. And I'm in the camp where, like, you know, if you really think about other bear markets, like in the U.S. and the stock market in '09, I mean, there was literal panic out there. People wouldn't even open up their trading platforms. It was so nasty, right? And you go back to the .com collapse, same thing. You go back to various commodity collapses. And I don't think we've seen that in crypto. Like, I don't see people saying crypto's done, it's over, it's not going to be anything. And that's what, to me, would mark a bottom. So I kind of feel like we need to almost go below 10,000 just to get that fear and panic and people kind of throwing in the towel effect. And then maybe we can actually see a bottom. So I actually do think we probably do pierce 10,000 on Bitcoin, and I will be absolutely buying it there.
Yeah. Oh, I tell people, you know, if I was going to be emotional, I want it to go down. I tell people that all the time. Like, listen, like, I'm not going to trade based off my emotion, but if I let my emotion take over, like, I want this thing to go down. I want cheaper Bitcoin. I want cheaper everything. So I can already feel the chat shaking in their pants right now with those low targets. But I always say, I just see dollar signs, right? Because
that's how I am too. I mean, and this is the killer, right? Is that bear markets are where you actually get the opportunities, right? It's where Bitcoin was 65, and instead of buying it at 65 or 69, I mean, you're getting, even here at 19, you're getting a great opportunity where, I mean, I literally, when I was making the calls of going to 20 and we were at 65, 69, people were like on Twitter, like, I will sell my kidney to be able to buy Bitcoin there. Of course, no one's selling their kidney right now, right? But people have that opportunity. I mean, you basically can buy 3+ Bitcoins for what you were paying for one Bitcoin back in just a year ago. And so opportunities are made here. It's all about, are you going to hold your thesis? Is the thesis still valid for Bitcoin? Yes, it is, in my opinion. You just had too much liquidity in the market, and cycles are cycles. You got to get the washout.
Yeah, absolutely. I've kind of been thinking, maybe this is the bear market where we get some regulation, and maybe that is initially the thing that kind of wrecks the market completely. People are like, oh my God, it's actually happening. It's getting regulated. This is the end of crypto, like you just said, a very important bottom indicator. People literally just thinking the asset class is going to die. There's no more money to be made. And then then it's going to start coming out where it's like, oh, wait, maybe we need regulation for crypto to do well.
That is 100%. I could not agree more that I've been since the very beginning. I'm like, please come in and just give us the rules of regulation. It's going to happen. I hate the fact that it's taking this long because I think it hurts. I think that's part of the reason why volume's so quiet on Bitcoin too, is because it's hard for big money to invest. And remember, folks, I'm coming from like a stock world where you have hedge funds, multi-billion, $100 billion, $1 trillion pension funds. There's no pension fund that has $1 trillion that's like, hey, let's go invest 1 or 2% in Bitcoin, because they don't know the rules. And if you don't know the rules, you can't risk. You have a fiduciary responsibility to your clients. You can't risk their money without knowing rules, or you're going to get in big trouble. And so I think that's where we are right now, where we need these rules. And remember, if we want it, I mean, this is the double-edged sword, right? We don't want big money in there. We don't want manipulation. We don't want government in there. But then at the same time, people are like, but I want Bitcoin at $500,000 or $1 million of Bitcoin. Well, the only way it's getting there is when you get this massive inflow of money to come in, and then it's going there. So it's like, do you want to live, free and like, no regulation, no nothing, but then I'm going to stay poor with my Bitcoin at 50,000? Or do you want to say, screw it, I just want to make a lot of money, in which case you need the bigger players in there?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I talk about this too. It's like, you mentioned the R word, and people are like, And like, you know, they don't want to hear it, you know, oh, this guy's, I think I said it on Ben's stream one time. I was saying, like, someone asked me, like, how do you feel about regulation? I was like, I think we need it. Like, if we want, like you just said, if we want big money in here, we need regulatory clarity. Because like you said, it's not that, you know, I think most people, even the institutions, you know, most people understand crypto to some degree now. So it's not this like shady character anymore, or it's less of a shady character. But like you said, they have an obligation to their clients that, you know, if there's no regulatory clarity, they can't be putting their clients' money in something like, you know.
And there's one thing investors, and I know this from stocks, investors hate uncertainty, right? We, you know, even if it's bad, we still want to know, because then we know what rules to play by. And I think the same thing with regulation. Remember, regulation comes in many forms. And one of the scariest things for me as a trader of crypto is that if someone hacks into my account, or like, you know, does something and, you know, swipes my SIM, you know, there's all these different things that they can just take my money, and then I have no recourse. At least in the stock market world, you get FDIC insurance. So, I mean, that's part of regulation, and that would be hugely beneficial, because number one, I would even feel more comfortable putting more money. Like right now, I have like 4 different crypto accounts. I like have like part of my money, because if one gets hacked, I don't want to lose all the money that I have in my crypto, right? So I mean, just getting that in there would make it more intriguing, I think, to like elderly Americans, like people that are on fixed income that have retirements and stuff. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I always say, like, when I think about getting my, you know, my uncle into crypto, or my aunt into crypto, and I tell them, hey, when you copy this address to send your crypto, even trying to explain the concept of sending to and from an address, you lose them there. And then when you tell them, hey, if you're one character off, your money disappears into the ether forever and it never comes back, there's no chance there's mass adoption until we get all that, you know, cleared up. And like you said, having something like FDIC insurance, something like that, at least you know, because I'm the same way. I have my money is spread between so many exchanges, because especially when you see, you know, what's been happening to these exchanges, it's like you don't want to have all your eggs in that one basket, like you said.
Seriously.
But real quick, I do just want to shout out Nate Quantum Divergence. He said, I swear everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is alpha. Both of these guys, giant stream right here. Make sure you smash that like button for our boy and go follow Gareth. Absolutely, guys. And I didn't say it. Nate said it. Smash that like button. And don't forget to go follow Gareth on all socials. And then shout out to Crypto Car Guy for that super chat. I do appreciate it. So, Gareth, I just want to pull a couple of more questions from the chat, and then we will cut you loose. And, guys, don't forget, at 7:30, we had a little not a debacle, but like a little hiccup here. I was talking to Crypto Keeper yesterday on the phone, and he was like, hey, do you want to come on Around the Charts or on my channel? And I was like, oh, actually, I have Gareth on the channel. I don't know what time we're going to get off. And he goes, Gareth's supposed to come on too. I was like, cool, sign me up. We'll both come over. So right after this stream, guys, we're going to be... Yeah, we're going for round 2 on Debate Crypto, so follow us over there when we're finished up. But I do have a question from Thesis himself. He says the 4-year cycle will... Okay, so this is actually right back to the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle will be broken if we drop below the June low. That would be permanent damage to its long-term structure, correct?
I mean, the 4-year cycle maybe, but to me, it's a no-brainer that you got to go below the June low. I mean, you have to wash out those people. Think of all the stops that have been put there from all the people that have been buying here. And again, when you see this sideways action, what that tells you is that there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers. That's why price is going sideways. So all those buyers probably have their stop right below the June low. And just the way markets work, they're going to want to wash those people out. So I do think it'll go below. Again, for me, I think this will be a longer cycle than the normal 4-year cycle of bear markets, mainly because the Fed's not here to save us, right? And again, you know, so by the way, is that just not I mean, this is so weird how crypto in general hates the Fed. They're like, screw the Fed, but then we kind of rely on the Fed to print money so that crypto goes up. I mean, it's just so weird.
Yeah, it's like you can't make it up. It's almost like it's written in a script.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, right? It's like you hate the Fed, but you secretly love them. It's like, yeah,
I hate you. Get out of here. Wait, hang on. Come back. I need you.
Wait, we need you here. Stay over here. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't make it up. But I would definitely agree with that. And it's funny because being on YouTube, it's something new that I've been able to take into my analysis. Now I don't really put too much weight on it, but I get to kind of get like a local social measure, or like a local social temperature of what people think. And we've been talking about lower lows for a really long time, and then we've just been sitting down here after we made that June low. We've been sitting down here for so long. It's like, all right, like I'm just gonna, we're not gonna mention this too much because you can only say the same thing so many times.
Right.
But then when it started to look like, the higher time frames, to me, do look like we could get some form of a decent bounce out of this. And as soon as I mentioned that, it's like people are like, no way, now we have to go. I mentioned lower lows. People are like, no, you're an idiot. We're going up. And now I'm like, we might get a relief bounce. And they're like, no, we have to go lower. And I'm just like, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But
and one of the things I just throw out here too is that this period that we're going through is very, very similar to 2018, right? So let me go back in my chart, and actually I'll show my screen and we'll try to just take a quick look at that. So bear with me as we go back. So basically, we had this long period in 2018 from September all the way to November, right? So that was about 2 months of sideways, very tight. Look at how tight these bars were right here. And what we ended up seeing was a little bit of a dip, then a rally up, but then ultimately a big rollover. And Bitcoin actually lost 50% of its value. It went from about 6,000 and change all the way down to about 3,000 and change. So it's very possible this could be what we're kind of in right now. And so I do think I agree with you. What you said earlier is that if we do get that pop, for me at least, I'll be looking to take profits into that, expecting that at some point we will have that bigger rollover. The positive is about it is that that was the final rollover to the low before we started to move up. So maybe that would be the final drop. Interestingly enough, if you take 50% off of Bitcoin right now, it puts you just below 10,000 as well. So kind of interesting how that all comes together there.
Yeah, it is crazy when you start to connect the dots. I think we talked about this last time. The chart, it's just so crazy. Like, and it's funny too because we were actually the other day on my live stream, we were looking at that exact same little area of price action you were looking at right before that 50% capitulation, and we were kind of talking about, are we there or are we, we were trying to compare like. Are we in that section, or it was that June low the bottom, and then we were to the right of that? And I think a lot of people are wishing that, oh yeah, look how flat it was at the actual bottom at about 3K, or like you said, 3,000 and change. We must be something like that. And I was like, but if you look up here, kind of the same deal. We might still have that 50% capitulation, and like you said, take 50% of Bitcoin's value. Off, and it does hit that number very, very, very closely. So, and then in the same way, that $12,000 to $14,000 range too. There's a lot of things that just line up. It's like, oh, well, if you take this, and that, you get that exact number in a million different ways. So it's just crazy how the charts can just really.
And I think it's important to say too, and just to be clear, is that just because I think it's going lower doesn't mean I'm not going to hold some Bitcoin. I think that doesn't make sense to a lot of people because they're like, well, if you think it's going lower, why would you hold any? And then why wouldn't you just buy it all down there? But honestly, for all the years I've traded, I've been wrong many, many times. And so my policy is, I call it the shotgun effect, which is basically once we get below 20, then I start nibbling a little bit, and then if it drops 3,000 or 2,000 more, I nibble a little bit more, and then drop. So basically, I was pretty confident it would go at least to 20, and so once we got there, then I started to nibble a little bit, and I'll just keep nibbling all the way down, even below 10,000, and accumulating, knowing that my long term is that it does go to 100 and higher than 100,000. So the key is there. If I'm wrong, and let's say it doesn't get to 12, 13,000, let's say Frankie's right. At least I have some exposure on the long side versus sitting there and saying, oh, darn, it never got to my level.
Yeah, absolutely. I get people all the time. They're like, I'm waiting to buy in. I'm waiting to buy in. When should I buy? And I'm like, well, first of all, I can't tell you when to buy. But, that's kind of a question to you as well is, well, you kind of just answered it. I was going to say, are you DCAing in? And how are you doing it? You basically just broke it down, step by step there. But I've been telling people the same thing. You buy a little bit now. If we drop lower, buy a little bit more because, if you wait to drop your whole bag in, I'm waiting for 12 to 14K. Well, if we don't get down there, you're going to wind up buying at 35, and then you're buying on your way up. And like you said, for anybody at home listening right now, I think if you take anything away from here, Gareth just said something super important. Nibble on your way down, right? It's like, well, what if I buy here and it drops lower? Just buy a little bit more. As long as you're not putting your whole bag in, that's the winning strategy. And like you said, just to get some long exposure in case you do get that.
And I think it's important to recognize that before you buy anything, think about what is your max exposure that you're willing to take on, right? So, let's say you say, okay, I'm willing to put 100K in Bitcoin. Then stick to that as your full position, but then divide it into segments, right? Divide it into eighths or sixths or tenths or fifths, and then spread them out, right? So the worst thing, and this is a big mistake that people do, is they say, oh, well, I'll put the 100K right in here at 20 or 19, and then when it drops to 10, they're like, oh, crap, I guess I got to put another 100K in, and now they're over-leveraged, which then becomes an emotional trade. And as soon as you get emotional, the market's going to take you by the you-know-whats and swing you around and make you do the wrong thing at the wrong time. I've seen it. It's happened to me when I was younger. So I'm really clear before I even enter a trade, I always think about what is my total position going to be, and then I divide it up if I'm going to dollar cost average in.
I love it. And quick question, do you set limit orders? Do you have your levels preset and you just let price fall through and hit them?
Yeah, and again, I might adjust limit, but one of the things that I learned in the stock game, which was more so with smaller stocks when I was early on, is that, if you do a market order and it's a thinner stock, you can actually get a really bad print. And so I've just gotten very addicted to saying, all right, when I put out a limit order, I get this price or better. At least I know my worst case, right? And so it's not so much with Bitcoin, it's pretty liquid, but even so, I mean, you could get a slightly worse fill depending on how liquid it is at that time. And so I always suggest people use limit orders. I'll even tell you this little tidbit is that sometimes when I'm trading, I'll even put a limit order slightly above the market. And at least, like, let's say I really want to get filled on a trade. Well, I don't want to put a limit order below and it doesn't fill me. So I'll put it, let's say the offer is, I don't know, $20. So I'll put my order at 20.02, and then I'll sweep the offers and at least get in on that trade. But I know that that's the worst price. 20.02 is my worst case scenario, and that gives me that ability to. It's almost like doing a market order, but knowing the worst that you're going to get is 20.02.
Right. I love that, and I know the Mafia is taking notes right now. I do have one more question from Lane Hughes. Shout out to Lane Hughes. He says, ask Gareth, with his calls being spot on since 69K and becoming the new face on YouTube for crypto like BitBoy, is there a chance market makers know most retail are waiting for the 3K call he's given? I'm just going to add on to that. Do you ever feel like you're getting watched by market makers? Because, I always wonder that, right? Because, it would be a great way to kind of gauge retail.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do when like you have. Like sometimes I'm trading a stock and I'm like, all right, here's my level, and then it gets within a penny and goes the opposite way, and I'm like, oh, I didn't get filled. But in reality, I don't believe so. And first of all, let's keep in mind, everybody, my 3,500 target is that's worst case scenario. So just keep that in mind. I don't think that's going to happen. That would be like cataclysmic worst case. If they want to push it down there, then I'll just buy more down there. That's okay with me. Or maybe they don't put it there. But I think that's important to recognize is I don't think market makers are and one of the things to remember too, and sorry to jump around, but the markets, even market makers get emotional. And so if price gets too crazy, then I don't even believe that they have full control over things. And I've seen this in flash crashes in the stock market as well. Sometimes they even just step back and let price do what it is. So I honestly think that the manipulation side is kind of overplayed a little bit much in the markets, and that goes for stock market as well as crypto. I don't think it's as big a thing as people make it out to be. It's kind of fun to say, oh, it was because of manipulation, but I honestly don't think it's that big of an issue, at least not now.
Yeah, I was going to say it is fun to think about, right? It's also a good excuse. Why? It's the market makers. They're trading it. They're counter trading me.
I know. It's true. It is.
But yeah, it's interesting. It does feel like that sometimes. I get even people who are very new to trading. They'll message me and they'll be like, my last 3 trades got stopped out by a 50 cents. How do these people? It's like they know where my stops are, and I tell them to a degree a lot of people, I always say, a very common place to set your stop loss is, above the last swing high and below the last swing low. And the market makers do know that, right? So
yes, like little moves like that, they will do. Absolutely.
Right.
Because they know that. But like bigger targets of like, I mean, think about, they're holding some Bitcoin. So it's not necessarily in their best interest to crash the Bitcoin price to 3,500 either.
Right.
But the little moves like that above key levels. And one of the things to keep in mind, and this is something I teach, is that in general, human psychology is to put stops at even numbers as well. So don't do it at an even number, right? So if you're going to put it at an even number, you can guarantee that there's a million other people putting their stops at that same level, just like you said about at pivot high breaks, at pivot low breaks. And so what you have to do is you have to be abnormal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be unique. So like instead of putting a stop at $20, put it at like 1977, like some weird thing where if they do flush it below 20 to take those stops, at least you're avoiding that.
Yeah, that's an invaluable piece of advice there. I tell people that with taking profit, right? If you're waiting for 100K, or say we did go to 100K, if you're waiting for 100K, there's probably a whole lot of take profits up at 100K. So you might want to set it at like 98.9K,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah. Just like that, I say this to people too, is that if you're going to put it at 100K, they're either not going to fill you because like you're saying, it's gonna be go right there, or they're gonna pop it through, right? It's never going, like, it's very rare you see price stop right at that level. So what I do is I use those even numbers to my advantage, knowing that there's stops just above them, right? Stops on shorts, so they'll run that, and I usually stick my targets just above even numbers, like at 100,005 or something, just above, because it usually pierces and then it retraces back down.
I love that. It's a ninja move for sure. And one more question. I know I keep tacking these on. This will be the last one. Vince120. He says, question for Gareth. I'm actually interested in this too. Do you ever use, any indicators such as market cipher or just any indicator? Like, if you do use any indicators, what are they? Or,
Yeah, so I do. I keep it pretty simple, though. I've just become more of a naturalist with the chart, where the chart itself should give you enough information, like whether the candle formations, the bottoming tails, topping tails, double tops, trend lines. So all of that kind of stuff is just naturally I put on the charts myself. But I do like Fibonacci. I'm a big fan of anything that occurs naturally in nature is likely to have an impact on us psychologically, even subconsciously, right? So like Fibonacci is one of the great things because it occurs in nature. Like the flower petals on a flower are in a Fibonacci sequence. The rings on a tree that's cut down, if you cut down a tree, the rings are in a Fibonacci sequence. So there's something inherent in our world that creates that number over and over again. And so therefore I like to use those things. So I generally use things that do occur. Moving averages are good as well, although I focus on the bigger moving averages because they're a little bit firmer. But aside from that, I don't use much else aside from trend lines and chart analysis.
I was hoping that was going to be the answer, because I get people asking me all the time, because I use Market Cipher, I use Luxalgo, and people are always like, I need this, and I'm very, very clear. I even in one of my latest videos was talking about, like, you don't need paid indicators, guys. Like, Gareth has been trading for, correct me if I'm wrong, 20 plus years.
20 years, yeah, 20 plus years.
And, you can use free indicators and traditional TA. You do not need fancy paid indicators. I love to use them for their simplicity. You find something you like and you get used to it. And that's okay to use them as well, but you don't need it. People are always like, I have to save up money before I start trading because I need Market Cipher. And I'm like, hey, listen, I always try to give alternatives, even when I do, like, if I made a video about divergences the other day, and I use Market Cipher for my divergences. And people are like, oh, I wish I could use this, but I don't have Market Cipher. So at the end, I gave them 3 other indicators they can use to find divergences, because you don't need Market Cipher, you don't need Luxalgo. They're kind of just like a luxury. They're fun little, bells and whistles. They can help for sure, but definitely not needed. So I was hoping that was going to be your answer.
And I agree with what you're saying there, is like the indicators can make it a little bit easier if you know how to read them, right? So, but essentially what I'm doing on the chart is I'm just doing it, I'm doing the indicators myself by factoring things out and looking for trend lines versus having something tell me that this is going on. So there's just, and in all fairness, there's plenty of indicators that are great. Like I do occasionally look at RSI divergences. I find those helpful as well. But again, I don't think you necessarily need to, but if it works for you, there's nothing wrong with it. If it makes you money, do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. It's like people say, TA doesn't work. And it's like, we were talking about this last time you were on. You're like, well, it makes me money. So if it doesn't work, then I'm going to keep doing it. So I absolutely love that. And I've said before, I was actually talking to some people in the office, in my eyes, a great indicator really, really all market cipher, it's indicators displayed in a different way, maybe an easier to read way, or so to me, a good indicator is just taking traditional indicators that are very reliable and just maybe displaying them in an easier to understand way for a beginner or maybe something like that. But yeah, so you guys heard it here first from Gareth Soloway. You do not need any fancy paid indicators to become a successful trader. But with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got. I know me and Gareth got to get to debate crypto here in a little bit, so we'll cut Gareth loose. And Gareth, I appreciate you coming on the channel so much, man. I know the Mafia, they literally wait. They in chat yesterday, they're like, I can't wait for tomorrow. So, always bring in the value, and I appreciate you coming on the channel. So I'll give you the stage, let people know where they can find you, and yeah, feel free to shamelessly promote yourself, please.
So, Twitter, easy place to find me on Twitter at Gareth Soloway. For crypto trades and daily videos, verifiedinvestingcrypto.com. And then I just launched an educational series, a 3-course series called the Winning Trader Series. And this is where I actually teach trend line drawing, how to find all this stuff. All this stuff, I do very few indicators in it. It's more like the nutty, the gritty stuff that really makes you money, including market psychology, which is a huge thing. Discipline, personal discipline. How do you get disciplined enough to be able to trade and not fall into the traps that are laid? And you can find that at verifiedinvestingeducation.com. And thank you, Frankie, for being on. I can't wait to be on again.
Of course, of course. Always happy to have you on, Gareth. And guys, might be in your best interest to go check those things out. I'm just saying. But yeah, Gareth, take it easy, and I'll see you in about an hour.
Awesome, buddy.
Take it easy, man. Thank you again. See if I could figure out how to switch this thing off. Okay, well, there's VMix, guys. Well, guys, how about that? Mr. Gareth Soloway himself. I know you guys absolutely love when we have him on. And I will be honest, I recommend you guys go ahead and if you missed any of that, please go back and rewatch it, because Gareth is, we have him on this channel and he has invaluable information, guys. He's been doing this for a super long time. And we've been talking recently about indicators and stuff. And I tell you guys, you don't need these fancy indicators. I love Market Cipher. I love Lux Algo. But, and do they help me? Absolutely. I would, to be honest, I would be lost without Market Cipher. But that does not mean that you cannot be successful, with free indicators. And Gareth is 100% proof of that. So, yeah, super happy that he came on today. I cannot wait to have him back on. But yeah, guys, smash the like button for Mr. Gareth the God Soloway. And definitely, guys, go check out everything he was talking about. Could be very, very valuable. Trust me. But with that being said, guys, I do want to jump into the charts real quick and just take a look at some stuff that we were talking about yesterday, and just kind of cover our basic analysis before I hop off a little bit early, because we are going over to Debate Crypto, where you could find me and Gareth hanging out, doing some more TA. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. The end. The end was perfectly awkward. Yeah, I couldn't get it to come off the screen. I was like, all right, take care. And then the screen just got locked up. But yeah, Frankie to the 100th power. Let's go. Shout out to Shane. Let's see. Smashed. Let's go. Shout out to Derek Knight for smashing that like button, guys. Smash it for Gareth. If you don't like me, smash it for Gareth at least. But guys, let's go over to Bitcoin. But bear with me. I got to take this sweatshirt off. I am burning up, guys. You guys know we like to keep it a crispy 117 degrees here in the Frankie Candle studio. That neon sign just throws the heat, guys. It's basically like there's a heat lamp behind me just cooking my neck. So here we go. I know everyone's probably like, he's about to expose a new piece of merch. It's just a plain black t-shirt, I promise. It really is. It really is. But anyway, guys, I do want to jump into the charts real quick here. I just want to cover something that we put in the Discord yesterday. Let's see. Let me just pull it up in the Discord. So last night, you guys will know we were looking at that daily red dot, expecting a little bit more downside. Let me just pull up the actual Discord. So here you go, right? So this is what we put in last night. I said, right now, things are basically the same. The daily red dot has confirmed, right? This is why we were expecting a further move to the downside. Daily red dot was confirmed. So we could come down a bit more here. Also, the 4-hour money flow and VWAP are rejecting pretty hard. Here are some more local levels I'm watching. My trading plans remain the same. If we come down to the range lows, this is where I'll be looking for longs. I would watch the retest of the point of control / local golden pocket at about 19.2K for a bearish rejection. So let's just go back to the chart, and I kind of just want to show you guys because it actually did almost exactly what we were looking for did actually happen, right? So into the beginning of the day, we did get a nice little run up, which was why I had these local golden pockets, right? So if you guys watch the stream, you will know. Typically, when I pull my fibs, sounds inappropriate. When I pull my fib, you guys will know I really, for the most part, I usually keep just 2 levels. I keep the 786 and the golden pocket, right? And the reason for that is because in any uptrend or downtrend, if you pull these local golden pockets / local fibs, price likely will retrace into that local golden pocket, and then sometimes if you break it, it will come up to the 786. Obviously not 100% of the time, but this is kind of where this is kind of what I did yesterday, right? So I had this local golden pocket, and then this morning when we were running up into the towards that local golden pocket, I know a lot of people were probably getting into FOMO longs, right? Oh my God, we're ripping into the beginning of the day. The market opened at 9:30, and then we started running up, right? But I was sitting on my hands, right? And again, guys, I struggle with emotion too. I was watching price run up, and I'm like, oh no, I hope this isn't the higher time frame starting to play out here. But I sat on my hands because I knew I was watching that local golden pocket right here at about 19.2. We obviously did run up a little bit above it. I mean, it's closer to about 19.245, but we ran up into this local golden pocket, and then we broke through, and I was hoping that 786 was going to pull us back, and it did, right? And we did pull some nice bearish divergences on the 12 and 15-minute chart. You can see your higher highs here with your lower highs on your momentum waves. Again, you can do this with the RSI, which is free if you don't have Market Cipher, but you could see that we did, and that actually was a little local bearish divergence right here as well, but a nice bearish divergence into that resistance, which was making me think that we could come down a decent bit here, and that's why I was letting you guys know to watch that local golden pocket. So anytime I say that in a Discord message, right, hey, watch this local golden pocket for a bearish rejection, something that you can look for if you're getting into trades is look to come up to that key resistance, which in this case was that local GP, and then look for your bearish confirmation. So you run into the local golden pocket, you start rejecting the 786, now you're seeing your bearish divergence on the 15-minute, and this is where you can start looking for your shorts. And then if you come down to the 12-minute, as you put in that bearish divergence, very shortly after that, you have your money flow running out as well. And then, as you peaked out here, you could see your money flow on the lower time frames were coming out as well. So that is kind of how you could have sniped that trade. I actually did take that short. Let me see if I could pull it up. I don't think I'm logged in on my Femex on the computer, but let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. I did take that short, and it is currently, let's see, up about 5%. So, nothing crazy. Let me see the dollar amount on that. It wasn't a lot. Yeah, bro, it's only getting started here. I'm hoping up about 5%, hoping to get a run down into these range lows closer to about 18,680. And if we can get that run down, I will be taking some profit here at this local value area low. And then if we come lower, I will look to close more of that trade down in this level. But just wanted to show that nice little setup. You have that local golden pocket, which was that key level that we're watching. And then, if you kind of watch the channel, you know what to look for. Okay, he said, watch the local golden pocket for a bearish rejection. So when I get to that level, I'm going to look for those bearish confirmations. And that bearish divergence plus the money flow coming out was a beautiful, beautiful call, or a beautiful, beautiful confirmation. So very, very nice here. And then you can see here, I was looking at this earlier. Look at that 12-minute blood diamond as you come up into that order block. And if you guys don't know, this is Lux Algo's support and resistance indicator. And what this does is it actually shows you where order blocks are. So and typically they do act as support. You see you hopped up on top of this order block, got a big launch to the upside, and then you came down, hit this order block, got a bounce, but then we're bearishly retested this order block, printed the blood diamond, and now we are coming down. Super, super cool. I'm going to start covering this support and resistance indicator that has been updated by Lux Algo recently with the order blocks, and not only that, they do have the market structure labeling. You could see higher low, lower high, and then lower low, break of structure, change of character. So there is a ton of information here, and it's a really, really good way to kind of find your support and resistance levels. And it also does automatic pattern detection, right? So you can see this this little pattern here, this little broadening wedge here was automatically detected by Lux Algo. I did not draw that. So very, very interesting. And the addition of these order blocks is insane. They've incorporated smart money concepts into this, so it's super, super cool. If you guys are interested in using Lux Algo, this is just one of the many things you get with their premium indicator suite. So if you guys want to sign up for that, check the link in the description. I'm sure someone will put it in chat. Tony D worked out an awesome deal for the CandleMafia. You guys can save 20%. So if you want to check out Lux Algo, they do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I always say the 30-day money-back guarantee because when I first started trading, I couldn't afford any of these indicators, right? So if they gave me an option to spend, buy a month of it and try it for 30 days and then get my money back if it didn't work out and I didn't like it, I would be all over that. So it's literally risk-free. You can literally try this. If you don't like it, you can return it. They'll give you your money back. So yeah, link in the description if you guys want to check that out. And then if the mods can put it in the chat, that would be awesome as well. And look at this. The mods put a poll in here I did not even see. Where will BTC bottom out? Most of you guys, not even really by that big of a long shot, but 37% of you guys think 12 to 15K will be the bottom, with the lowest amount of people thinking that 10K will be the bottom, and then second place here is the bottom is already in. So I would actually probably lean on both of those as well as the most likely situation. I think either 12 to 15K or the bottom is in is probably where I would lean as well. But with that being said, yeah, I just wanted to kind of take a look at that. I will clean this up, take that off, bada boom. So as of right now, guys, in the short term, basically what I am looking at, I'm going to hold this short, hopefully come down and revisit these range lows where I will be taking some more profit. And then as we work our way down to this level and this level down here, I will be looking for the opposite of what I was looking for when we came up to this golden pocket / 786 level. And as we come down, just like when you come up to key resistance, you look for the bearish confirmations. You wait till you come down to support, look at those bullish confirmations, get into your trade, get your money, and get out. And then again, I'm going to pull up this other chart that we typically look at. And this is basically remains the major level, right? It's very similar, right? The range lows here, about 18,825. You have the spider line down here. Once we start losing these levels down here, this is where I start flipping very bearish. And I think we could come down to those lower lows and potentially break the June lows that we made. And we do have that 786 fib level at about 17,600, right? So I know that's kind of old news, but that's just for anybody wondering what kind of my trading plans are. I'm holding the short, hoping to get down to these range lows. I will take some more profit down there. And then at this point, I will be looking for bullish confirmations because those higher time frames do still technically look like they could break to the upside. We are starting to look like we could get some invalidations here, though. So you could see here on the 2-day, we did print that red dot. I would like to see this VWAP turn right back around, but if this thing comes deep and that money flow crosses back over into the red, that is where I think we could start getting this move down and potentially, finally break these range lows and get a move below these levels and finally start trading down here. But either way, I will be the first person to let you guys know as soon as that happens. Also, did want to bring up a couple of altcoins here. I'm not going to do, a lot of analysis on them, but I do just want to bring up Matic because we were looking at Matic yesterday on the 2-hour. I believe it was yesterday, guys. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I'm almost 100% positive it was yesterday. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But guys, Bearish divergence on the 2-hour for Matic, guys. This was a beautiful, beautiful short setup. We looked at it on the stream. You can see here, you have your lower lows on your momentum waves with your higher highs on your price action. And this was your bearish divergence. It did confirm as soon as we got off the stream, and it took a little bit of a dumpski. So there you go. Beautiful call on last night's stream. Absolutely love it. Love being able to catch this stuff for the Mafia. Nice 8% move, guys. That is beautiful. Breakdown, bearish retest, and then another dump down to this higher volume node right here. Beautiful move. Just wanted to shout out anybody who saw that last night and was able to take advantage of that information after doing your own analysis. You don't just want to hear some random guy on the internet go, bearish divergence on the 2-hour, short, right? You want to go, make sure you're seeing the same thing. But now we do have money flow coming out on that 2-hour as well. Very oversold, though, so very likely that we get at least some sort of a bounce off of this level. Let's see. Adam looks like it's starting downwards as well. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. Again, I'm not going to take requests for the altcoins tonight, guys, just because I got to get over to debate crypto. But yeah, no bear div here on the 2-hour. Let's come over to the 4-hour. Nothing here. No bear divs. Let's come down to the 1-hour. There's your bear div right there. That was your entry, right? Coming up to this value area high, higher high, bear div. There you go, right? This was your key resistance. Yeah, this was your key resistance, this little value area high. Obviously, you wicked a little higher, but you put your higher high, giving you that higher price action with your low or your high and your lower high. Boom, there's your bear div. Played out very, very similarly to Matic, for about 11% on Atom. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful move. We didn't call this one. We called the Matic, but we didn't call this on Atom. But same setup, guys. I like to show you guys where these setups are. Again, where's another key level? I could just find it right here, right? Where's another key level? I'm just using this box to highlight. Where's there another key level on this chart? Maybe this super high volume node. It's the point of control, right? Super key level, right? Come up to your point of control. You start bear diving into this resistance. Boom. This would have been another beautiful trade. Bear div, higher highs, lower highs, and you could have scalped that for a nice little 666%. Not too bad. But there you go. I do just like to point this stuff out to you guys because the more you see it, the easier it will be to point out. And then right here, I mean, you almost a bear div. I don't know if you a bull div. I don't know if you would consider that a bull div. Not really. You didn't get the lower lows on price, but you did have momentum coming up. Let's see. 2018 was different time, my friend. Yes, 2018 was definitely a different time. Let's see. Hey, what's going on? Chusei Crypto. What is going on? Let's see. Bottom is creating a nice base. Now everyone calling for another leg down. Not happening. Aussie mate. What is going on, man? Thank you for being here. Yeah, very similar to what Gareth was saying. I talk about this all the time. When the masses start calling for certain things, right? No one wanted these lower lows. Everyone was saying, you're crazy if you think there's lower lows. Gareth was saying they were coming, and now everybody and their grandma are looking for these lower lows. And that is usually when you start to think maybe you won't get it. I always say on my channel, when people are calling for these lower lows, it's giving me PTSD of when everybody was calling for 100K. What happened? We didn't get it, right? So, yeah, definitely interesting. I'm actually glad you said that because I think that's important. Captain Kirk, off to work. Captain Kirk's off to work. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I'm like this, guys. But shout out to Captain Kirk. Thank you for being here. We love you back, Captain. Thank you for being here. Have a good time at work. Let's see. I've been in the Discord saying this too. Jusei, absolutely, man. I see you in there. John Angelici says everyone is calling for bullish. Why is everyone saying we bullish? So I think the reason why people are saying we're bullish, right? We've been talking about. So you want to make sure you differentiate, right? So for me, the higher time frames do tend to be pointing to the upside. Now we are running out of time for those to actually play out, but it does look like we could. Gareth was even saying it. He is leaning towards a slight move to the upside. Now, people aren't, when they say they're bullish, technically we're bullish in the short term, but that doesn't mean we're expecting higher highs, right? We just mean a short-term relief bounce, right? So Gareth was saying, looking at very similar targets as us, right? Looking at that 25K potentially being on the higher end of that little relief bounce. And the higher time frames are right now technically pointing towards that. But are we going to get it? That's a whole nother story. You can see we are printing a red dot, not only on the 2-day, but the 3-day as well. And then the 4-day is not printing a red dot, but we are getting the VWAP flop. So likely we could get a red dot there as well. And then your 5-day is still actually pretty good and intact, although you do have the yellow X. So it depends. We are actually on these higher time frames starting to play red dot, green dot games. Green dot, red dot immediately, green dot, red dot immediately, red dot, green dot immediately. So this is why we're going sideways. Typically when you get these, red and green dots right next to each other, it does indicate sideways action. But hopefully, it would be a little bit, this is making me a little bit worried about these higher time frames flipping bearish. Money flow is coming back out on the 3-day. But again, a short-term move to the upside. Gareth wasn't saying he's bullish, thinks that we're going to 100K. He just thinks we could get a short-term bounce before rolling over and making those lower lows. Let's see. Chusei with the sauce. Let's go. Shout out to Chusei Crypto. Let's see. The Discord is true fire. Absolutely. If you guys are not in our free Discord, please, for the love of God, get in that Discord, guys. And don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys learned something on today's stream from me or Gareth, definitely smash that like button so we can push this content out to more people and become bigger and bigger, grow the Candle Mafia into an unstoppable force, and we can continue to get these awesome guests on to help teach you guys how to become successful traders. But with that being said, let me just go ahead and take a look real quick at the SPY. Now, as you guys know, we have been looking at the weekly on the SPY because there's something very interesting developing here, and that is a bullish divergence on the weekly. And you can see that by the lower lows on your price and the higher highs on the higher lows on your weekly time frame, right? This is a bullish divergence, guys. This is another reason why people are saying, I forget who asked it, someone's saying, why are people bullish? It's saying on the charts that we could get a move to the upside, but it doesn't mean that we're going to launch up and make new highs. But when you get if we were getting a weekly bullish divergence in the middle of a bull market for Bitcoin, I would expect a huge move, right? But we're in a bear market, so a weekly bull div is likely to give us somewhat of a move. It's not likely to bring us into a new bull run, but again, 25K on the higher end is not impossible, because if you come all the way back to 2018, guys, I think a lot of people are like, we're in a bear market, you can't pump, that's impossible. But this is the 2018 bear market. I mean, this was over 100%. This was over 50%. This was over 50%, right? So you do get over, you can get a pump up to 100%, is not uncommon in a bear market. So, obviously you have bounces, price is turbulent in either direction, but yeah, so this is actually just some interesting levels I was looking at, guys. You do actually have a value area low at that $12,300 level, $12,500 level. So that's just an interesting level. People call them between 14 and 12K. You do have a value area low. And then, what's this value area low? It gets close to that $8,500 number that Gareth was talking about. I wanted to bring this up when he was talking about it, but I was looking at these levels, and they are very, very interesting. But with that all being said, let's continue on here. SPY, again, that bull div on the weekly is making me think we could get a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a doji here. Indecision in the market is what that indicates. So we'll see if we get this thing to print a green dot and confirm a bull div on the weekly. But again, this is another reason why I am thinking with the bullish outlook on the higher time frames, which again are wearing thin, but with the higher daily time frames looking okay on Bitcoin, with the weekly bull div on Bitcoin as well, and the SPY, it is making me think we could get a move to the upside some point in the near future. But again, we are running out of time. But once they get invalidated, your boy Frankie Candles will let you know. But taking a look at the DXY, I just want to talk about this real quick. Again, well, look at that little bear div. Bada boom. Bada boom, coming down. But guys, we are just toying around with this local golden pocket, right? We've talked about this many times, right? We came down, we came back up, played with the golden pocket, lost it, bearish retest, decisively lost it, and now we're coming up for to make a lower high, which could indicate that we are going to get a nice rejection off this local golden pocket. So maybe this brings us up. We'll have to see if we can launch out and through this golden pocket. But shout out to whoever said, I bet all of Frankie's shirts have a golden pocket. You're right. They do. I just don't wear them on stream because I don't want people to make fun of me. But let's see. Yeah, so let's look at Market Cipher and see if there's anything. Yeah, about to print a green dot on the DXY, so, you know, there could be some more upside. We'll have to wait to see what happens and see what the DXY does tomorrow, but I would watch for a potential break of this golden pocket to the upside with that daily green dot looking to form here. 16-hour green dot. 12-hour. Let's get the 4-hour. Yeah, you are printing a 4-hour green dot, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if we can push through this. XRP Golden Cross worth a long. That's a hard one. Let's take a look at XRP. This will be the last thing we look at because I do actually have to get to debate crypto. Let's see. Let's take a look. So again, XRP, another short that we talked about last Monday, I believe. Whenever the last time I was on Coffee and Crypto. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it might have been last Monday, so almost 2 weeks ago. Was it? Actually, we'll see. No, it can't be. Was it 2 weeks? Let's see. Yeah, almost 2 weeks ago, we were looking at this bear div on the daily, guys. The bear divs don't lie. The bear divs do not lie. Brought us down about 22%. That's why I point these things out for you guys, because when you get a bear div on the daily, it's typically a very strong signal, right? You're likely to at least get some sort of a move out of it. But with that being said, yeah, your daily does not look too good. Your 2-day is not looking too good. Let's see. Let's look at the weekly. Your VWAP is, unless you find some serious support on this weekly VWAP, it is likely that this is going to print a red dot, and you could just be starting your move to the downside here, right? We did have a big move up, got that bear div on the daily, started coming down, and then you are looking to print a red dot here on Market Cipher B. Once that happens, we could just be starting this move to the downside. And then let me just pull this for fun here. Yeah. I mean, 40 cents even. 40 cents even might be a decent place to look for a bounce if we do get a big move to the downside. But the way the weekly is looking right now, with money flow coming out and the VWAP coming down, I would lean a little bit more bearish on XRP in the medium term. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. Never financial advice, guys. Although, you know, sometimes these calls do play out, but it's never financial advice. And I don't want you guys to like never listen to anybody either. But if you see me talking about a daily bear div, right? Maybe you go and you would just want to confirm that you're seeing the same thing, right? Let's see. Well, maybe you're looking for key resistance. Well, Frankie said there's a bear div on the daily, but let me see. Is there really? Oh, there is. Well, let me see. Is there a lot of resistance above us? Let me check. And then you look for the key levels. Be like, you might find a really strong level. Be like, wow, it's a local golden pocket, a value area high, and there's also this other level here, which is very strong. Oh, and then you get your own complements, right? You want to use other traders as complements. You don't just want to. I don't think there's ever been like a super successful copycat trader. So just keep that in mind. But hey, the calls play out. So can't hate on that. Yeah, Shane Kerr says DXY doesn't care about bear divs. Thanks, Frankie. XRP all day. Absolutely. Big XRP guy. But, guys, with all that being said, smash that like button because we're about to spin that wheel of pain and pleasure. And like I said, guys, we are doing a very special giveaway this week. We're going to be giving away merch, some ledgers, some crypto, because we didn't do our 25K giveaway, and we didn't do, we didn't do our 25K giveaway, and now we have the 30K giveaway, so we're going to mash them together, and we're going to give away a whole lot of stuff this week. So if you've never joined one of these giveaways, smash that like button and get into this giveaway. The mods will let you know how to join. So definitely get in here because we're giving away a ton of good stuff. And don't forget, at 7:30 Eastern Time, I will be live again with Gareth in just a little while here. In just a half hour, we will go live again, and we'll be on Debate Crypto talking more charts. But let's go ahead, and with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Jump into the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure. Let's see. Yeah, and also ZK, shout out for the super chat. We did take a look, but thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate you. Hashtag Shane Kerr says hashtag always financial advice. And to that, I say hashtag nope. Let's see. I am taking hot sauce off the wheel, guys. And that's bad news because you don't get to see me chug hot sauce. But And I guess chug is probably a little bit of a generous statement. But with that being said, I'm going to take it off, which is kind of bad because you won't get to see me drink hot sauce, but it also increases the giveaways. So let's go ahead and get our first spin here. If we get 510 likes by the time I'm done spinning, I'll spin it 10 times. Let's go. All right. Shout out to the Mafia. I hope you guys enjoyed Gareth tonight. I love having Gareth on. He is he is one of the most I think when Gareth talks, I think it's worth listening, right? He's been doing this for a very long time. He knows what he's doing, right? So I love having him on the channel. He always brings a ton of value. He likes to teach. And again, with all the stuff he was talking about, going to check out his courses and stuff might be a really good idea. I'm just saying. All right, let's see. CandleMafia all day. Shout out, Unusual Suspect. Thank you for being here. I say Unusual Suspect all day. Corey says, drink any more hot sauce and your butt might hurt. You're probably onto something there. I'm not going to lie, Corey. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Crypto. Yo, Frankie Candles, did you check out the fractal I put in the Discord? Crypto Sup Surfer. I actually have not had a chance. I haven't had a chance to check it yet, but I will get to it, and as soon as I see it, I'll try to check it tonight, and then I'll be on Debate Cryptos tonight, but I'll try to check it tomorrow and hopefully be able to bring it up on the live stream for you tomorrow. Let's see. I saw pineapple hot sauce being consumed. That's right, the Naked Canadian. That is right. That is right. We did consume it. It's actually really good. It's actually still on the desk here. There it is. Shout out to shameless plug for Hotline Pepper Products. Shout out. I didn't plan on shouting you guys out again, but hey. Hotline Pepper Products. It's good hot sauce. I mean, again, I'm not a huge hot sauce guy, so maybe if you're like a hot sauce connoisseur, listen, I'm not a big hot sauce guy, but it's good. I like the pineapple hot sauce. It's just a perfect amount of heat for me. I like hot sauce. I don't like the super hot stuff. I'm not over here like using the bomb on my stuff. But yeah, I like a little Cholula. But yeah, pineapple. That pineapple is pineapple habanero, I believe it is. Very, very good. Yeah, pineapple habanero sauce. Very, 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 very good. All right. There we go. I gave you guys an extra spin here, but we got 506 likes. I appreciate all of you guys for smashing that like button. You guys are the absolute best. And again, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Gareth Soloway. I hope you learned something. He always spits the knowledge. And like I said, when Gareth speaks, you got to listen. But thank you to the Mafia. Shout out to anybody that took that Matic short, or at least did your own TA and then took the short, obviously, on your own account because you can't copycat trade. But shout out to everybody. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. 30K. I know we celebrated yesterday, but don't forget, we're doing that crazy giveaway this week. So smash up that like button and make sure you get into that giveaway because we're giving away a whole lot of stuff. And yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm running on here. I feel like I need to get an official outro, guys. Maybe we'll take some votes on what my official outro should be, because I kind of just mix it up randomly, but I feel like I kind of choke on my outros sometimes. I just don't know what to say. I just don't know how to say goodbye. I'm a true Italian. You know, I gotta get out of here at 5, and then you're there at 12 a.m. drinking coffee and eating cannolis with your family. But let's see. The hotter, the better. I like my mouth to be on fire. Josh. I mean, shout out to you. To each his own. I don't understand why people like that. I get liking a little bit of heat, but I don't understand why people love to just absolutely like have a numb tongue. But it turns out Frankie is sponsored by Sauce. Look at that, guys. That's right. Frankie Candles brought to you by Sauce. All kinds of sauce. But with all that being said, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in tonight. Again, I hope you learned something, and I hope you had a good time. Smash that subscribe button. I don't know what our metrics are for our subscriber to non-subscriber viewers, but I'm just going to pretend it's really low. So, guys, only 1% of our watchers of our viewers are subscribed. So hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight. I love each and every single one of you. You are not just a number to me. You are this YouTube channel. I'm just the guy on camera. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. And actually, I mean, I'll see you on Debate Crypto in 30 minutes with Gareth Soloway, once again, spitting some more sauce. I love each and every single one of you. That's all the time I got for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Oh, God, now you guys are secretly going to know that I absolutely love hot sauce. Oh, it's my favorite thing. That's all the time I got. Bing bong.